Hi, so today I want to tell you one of the reasons why I have faith in humanity. So, the more you talk with people, people are on different levels of course, different levels of knowledge and different levels of intelligence. Some people are almost completely unaware of the world of humanity on a global scale, to have this picture idea of what humanity is like in the grand scheme of things, in time and space, what are going on in different parts of the world, what technology we have, how is politics going, but also about the larger universe, to have some awareness of that, some basic awareness of that, that the sun is in fact a star. Is important knowledge in how the sun works. It presses atoms together under intense temperature and pressure, and those atoms fusing together release lots of energy, and that's how heavier elements are made. Well, heavier elements eventually are made in supernova explosions, where just unimaginable, well, the sun is unimaginable by default, but just unimaginable forces. And then you have heavy atomic nuclei fusing together into things like gold and platinum and all the heavy stuff. But anyway, I think it's important for a human being to have awareness of where we are and what we are, also our biology and psychology, like how we work. I've always found that fascinating, and for me it always seemed like a basic thing. Like, isn't this supposed to be a starting point for anyone who wants to say that they're, a grown-up adult person making adult choices? People can argue with that, but like I can't take you seriously if you don't know that the sun is a star. So for me, knowing these kinds of things are basics about the world that I think are really important, and they change immensely how you see the world. Someone who knows these things and understands and has a kind of feel for humanity, and also some grains of existential depression in there. Like, if you don't have it, then you're not thinking about it hard enough. Not that it's good to dwell on it, but just to understand that. And many more people today have this awareness, and I'm quite certain if you're watching this video, then you also have that kind of awareness, that kind of feel for the world. Of course, some people more, some people less, but just this kind of basics that we're talking about. And so what I have noticed is that most people tend to be quite pessimistic about the future of humanity. So if I were to ask something like, are you optimistic or are you pessimistic about the future of humanity? A lot, I would even say most of the people I speak with, young people, but also older people, but everyone who kind of gets the word. But that's like the thing that they can't really put together, and no one knows. No one can tell the future. And neither can I. But the more knowledge you gather and the more you think, the more accurate your predictions for the future will be. So again, that would be the basics for having any sort of plan or idea or picture. If you want to have a picture about the future, then the best thing you can do is to learn as much as you can how things work, how things interact over time, in all kinds of domains of science, and just on a human level as well, how these things work. And then make predictions. Not that you have no idea how nuclear weapons work, but you think that a nuclear war in World War III is likely, and you think that we'll be at war with Russia. Whatever country you're from, you will be in war with Russia, and nuclear weapons will fly, and it will all be devastated. And I ask why, and they tell me, basically that social media is full of negative posts. So some stupid person did that. Then there are these people who are against vaccines. Then there are people who believe that the earth is flat, and they give these kinds of examples. Of course, more complicated examples as well, but basically examples like this about why they think that we shouldn't be optimistic about the future of humanity. And I most often find that silly when people are pessimistic, because there's no real reason. I mean, this is not a video about social media, but it's obvious that social media, feeds you more negative information, because it knows the artificial intelligences running this system know that if they give you things that upset you, you're way more likely to respond and repost with some caption of "this is total nonsense, everybody look at this as well," that's more likely to happen than happy news. Happy news and good news spread as well. Just that negative news tends to spread more and faster. And the reason for that is of course, if you go way back into our evolutionary biology, then we see that it was for the same sort of value. It was way more useful for you to fear something or to have this experience of suffering, of feeling something, than it was for you to, ponder positive things about the future. Then still the negative outweighs, because it's more important for survival. Worrying and being aware of threats, that's basic. Any mammal, any creature, biology is thinking about threats and constantly simulating and thinking about possible threats in the future. So this is why social media feeds us negative things, and this is the reason why people tend to lack faith and optimism in the future of humanity. I think it's lack of information, because let me tell you, if you are pessimistic about the future of humanity, you have good reason to be. Also, but it's not black or white. There are things that just make me so happy to be a human being, things that genuinely make me glad to be human, to be part of this human species who are doing great things. We are doing great things, stupid things as well, but if you look over history, we have been getting smarter, in fact. And the average person is way smarter than someone just 100 years ago. Our world has changed so much, but because we are so adaptable creatures, whatever new norm, you get what I'm saying, whatever new norm we have is sustained, whatever, we get used to it. This is the idea of the hedonistic treadmill, that wherever you are in your life, or wherever, because we're all individuals composing a group, and a group is composed of individuals, the same kind of hedonistic treadmill can be applied to the human civilization. Once we reach some point as a society, we all take it for granted and accept it as something that it's always been that way, almost having that feeling. Me talking to older people, talking to my parents, it becomes very clear that huge changes have been going on from previous systems of government to current ones. Anyway, change is happening, and even on that alone, I would say we have reason to be optimistic. I think no country wants the whole world to be destroyed. Even if some country wants to invade another country, no country wants the annihilation of the planet. There are some iffy countries. If you could guess what countries we're talking about. But what I wanted to show, the whole point of this video, the whole introduction that I'm doing, we're just talking. Okay. So what I wanted to show you is one of the reasons, a big reason, why I have faith in humanity. And this would be the ITER project.
The sun, like the stars, draws its energy from the fusion of hydrogen atoms. This nuclear reaction is 1 million times more energetic than the strongest of all chemical reactions. Since the early 1950s, scientists have been drawn to this powerful energy source and have sought to recreate it on Earth. The stakes are enormous. Fusion could provide a source of large-scale energy, one that is safe, available anywhere on Earth, in unlimited quantity, and with no negative impact on the environment. Through the ITER project, 6 nations, China, India, Korea, Japan, Russia, the United States of America, and the European Union have agreed to pool their financial and scientific resources to prove the viability of fusion as an energy source. ITER is the Latin word for the way. Its goal is to pave the way to fusion power. From 50 megawatts of input heating power, ITER will produce 500 megawatts of thermal power for at least 300 seconds, the first fusion machine to produce net energy. The chosen site was in southern France. And so, here we are today, building the largest fusion machine ever. ITER is based on the tokamak concept of magnetic confinement. First, the fusion fuel, puffs of deuterium and tritium, is injected into a vacuum vessel. Then a powerful magnet, centered in the core of the machine, is turned on, inducing a current across the gaseous mixture. The voltage rips electrons from the atoms, forming a particle soup called plasma. Now the superconducting poloidal and toroidal coils are ramped up, locking the plasma inside the vacuum vessel. Squeezed together, it quickly heats up to 10 million degrees centigrade, but that is not good enough yet. To make the particles fuse, the temperature needs to be increased further. Radio and microwaves are fired into the plasma together with high-energy beams of deuterium atoms, until the plasma reaches 150 million degrees. Hot enough. The products from this reaction are helium and highly energetic neutrons. While the helium particle remains in the plasma, helping to keep it hot, the neutrons escape the magnetic confinement and hit the surrounding metal wall. Once they have slowed down, the neutrons release their energy by emitting heat, which is finally turned into electricity.
So nuclear fusion would provide 3 to 4 times more energy than nuclear fission currently does. And it doesn't require pretty much the only fuel instead of enriched uranium, whatever they use in nuclear fission reactors. Nuclear fusion just takes water basically, and there's a lot of water, way more water than you or I can even comprehend. So a lot of water. So this would be basically limitless free energy. And this is built by all the superpowers in the world in collaboration. It's a joy to see memberships: the European Union, United States, India, Japan, Russia, South Korea, China, Australia, Canada, Kazakhstan, Thailand, United Kingdom, Switzerland. Countries that you would in some instances say aren't friends, don't get along, nonetheless work together for projects for the future of all humanity together. This is what I like to see. United States and Russia together, United States and China, European Union and India, or well, better, United Kingdom and India. I mean, that's what gives me faith in humanity, that for every country their eventual plan, instead of just stupid pickering and being on this low level ape brain thinking of still being in conflict, and it's stupid. It's an old system of government, and we can understand how we got here. It takes some time to shake off the dust of stupidity. We do need to evolve more in our laws and in our governance. Let's not talk about wealth inequality in this video, but it's an absurd world we live in. But this shows that the eventual plan, besides all that nonsense, is to work together. We all want a better future. And this is working towards a future where we have so advanced technology that scarcity will no longer exist. That we have enough energy and resources for abundant needs met for every human being on the planet, and that is possible. And artificial intelligence and automation, unless something goes wrong, will take us there. So it's an amazing time to be alive. 2026 for the planet. Let's see if we get a good picture. So this is basically how it would look like. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was interesting in some way. If you have any thoughts, please share them in the comments. And of course, thank you so much for watching, and take care.